stop me now, they won't stop me now, they won't stop me, no. They won't stop me now, they won't stop me now, they won't stop me, no.
Hello and welcome back to We Are Mighty. It's been a long couple of weeks for me. I don't know about you guys. I didn't just realize, over the course of those couple of weeks, we hit the 1-year anniversary of my son being taken from me. And I thought that was going to be a really, really tough day for me. Surprisingly, it wasn't, especially since I had court that morning for the murder case and had to deal with seeing that person again and listening to the charges being read. And I think it's because my mom was actually with me, and I tried to be strong for her because once my mother heard the word murder, she actually broke down, and that was hard for me. So I tried to be strong for her and be supportive, but I'm already realizing that this is going to be draining, dealing with this court case, and I hope it's not long and drawn out, but I don't have any control over that either, so I'll just be there when I need to be there, and I don't plan to miss a date. But like I said, even though I had court that day and it was the actual anniversary, if you will, of his death, I had a lot of people asking me, what are you going to do for the 1 year? And you have anything planned? And I actually thought that was kind of awkward. I know people do things on the date. And, I at one point thought about a balloon release or something, until my oldest son said to me, Mom, this isn't an anniversary. This isn't a celebration. Like, why are we trying to plan something? This isn't a joyous occasion. And I had to agree with him. So I didn't do any big, performance presentation or anything. I just, I went to the gravesite and I sat there with him for a while, and I, cleaned his grave marker like I always do. One of his friends was already there when I got there, and she told me she had been there like an hour. And she sat with me, and we talked and just shared memories. But I just didn't feel right trying to make it like I hate to say it, but like a party. No, that's not a day that I want to celebrate. It's a day I'll never forget. Today I want to remember every year, and I will, but into each his own. Nope, no, nothing against anyone who does, the balloon releases or, different things on the date of someone's death. That's your prerogative, and if that's what you decide to do, I have nothing against that. I can't fault you for how you mourn. I could not bring myself to do it. And people had been asking me for months. And I was like, I'm thinking about it. I'm trying to figure something out. But I just couldn't. I just couldn't. And then just here recently, a few days ago, was the 1-year anniversary of the day that we buried him, the day of his funeral. And believe it or not, that day was worse than the day that he was taken from us. I didn't want to get out of bed that day, and I didn't realize what day it was at first. I didn't want to get out of bed, and I had a meeting that morning, and during that meeting, when I wrote the date down, I realized, oh wow, this is that day. And it was like downhill from there. I left that meeting, I went home, and literally just got in the bed for a few hours. I just didn't want to do anything. I just didn't. And of course, social media, your memories from a year ago pop up, and memories popped up on my Facebook, and people who had been at the funeral making posts about what I said there, what I was encouraging the young men to do something different. And, so there was these constant reminders throughout the day that it was that day. But that day was just devastating for me. I did not want to really talk to anyone. I didn't want to go anywhere if I didn't absolutely have to, and I didn't. Other than that meeting, I didn't leave the house. Even my puppy knew something was wrong. He'd every maybe hour or so, he'd jump up on the side of the bed like he's asking, Mama, are you okay? And I just, I don't take those days very often. I'm always doing something, going somewhere, taking care of something, being there for someone else. So to actually take a day to, I don't even know if you could say I was dealing with it, but just take a day to take a step back and just be like, I really have dealt with a major loss, something very painful, and I don't take the time to be to myself and reset, if you will. And that's important. Not necessarily to have a day of mourning, if you will, or not to have a day of just being sad, but to take some time to take care of yourself. A friend of mine gave me a gift certificate for a massage for Mother's Day. Here it is 2 months later, and I haven't even used it yet. And, I thought about that. Maybe I need to go ahead and do that. Maybe I'll actually do a pamper me day, just a day of really self-care, a day of taking care of me and doing the things that I tell other people to do. I'm always telling people, make sure you take that time for yourself. Make sure you are good. You can't be good for anybody else if you're not good for yourself. And I am the worst one when it comes to actually doing it. So I'm making a conscious effort to add self-care to my busy schedule, to add moments of meditation, just moments of clarity to clear my mind, because I have so much going through my head at any given moment. And I literally will still cry at the drop of a hat. And I'm trying to get past that. I wanted to start this podcast because I wanted to have positivity and give a positive outlook for people who may be going through what I'm going through, even if it's the exact same or a different type of mourning that's keeping you down. And I want to be positive and uplifting. And I feel like it's been more of a woe is me type of thing. It's been more dark. And that's not what I want to be continuous. I mean, again, you mourn how you mourn. You mourn for as long as you mourn, and you deal with it how you deal with it. But I do want to be a positive voice. I do want to be someone who lets you know that it will be okay. Now, to be honest, I don't know if I'm at the okay point yet, but I know that I have to push for it. I have to get myself in a better place mentally, physically. I'm doing okay. I've been eating better, and, I'm going to start working out. Yeah, people say I'm going to start working out for months, but it's coming soon, I promise. But I feel like mentally there's still a ways for me to go. For some reason, hitting that 1 year mark, I literally have said to myself, what have you done in this year? Not just in trying to keep my son's legacy alive, but in trying to keep myself alive. The person that I was, she definitely died with my son. And I can't allow that to happen. She'd never be the same. But I have to try to be more positive. I try to keep my thoughts more positive. Try to keep myself in a positive light because I know how my son was, how our relationship was. We laughed all the time. We joke, and I have to get back to that. It scares me when people tell me I don't look the same. And I have looked at pictures, looked at myself now, even when I'm smiling. It's not the same. And it'll never, of course, be 100% the same. But I think that I can be a little better. I think that I can push myself just a little bit more. I feel like I'm sleeping way more than I used to. And I know it's a little bit of depression, and I'm allowed that. Again, I'm dealing with something major, something I've never had to deal with before. But I also know that I have family who counts on me. I have an older son. He's an over-the-road truck driver, and he'll tell you himself he's a mama's boy. He calls me every day, and I try to be positive with him because it's hard for him to be on the road if he thinks that I'm not doing well or if something triggers him about his brother. So I try to keep it light with him and keep it positive with him. But once I hang up the phone, it's like I slump back into that depression. So I'm sure I'm not the only person who goes through this. But I know that I can come out of it. And if you're a person who's going through it, I know that you can come out of it. No, I'm not saying if it's been a year, you should be better than this. You should be past it. Because I can't tell you your time frame. I just know where I am and what I had planned to do after this situation happened and what I thought I would be able to accomplish. And I haven't accomplished a lot of it. I'm not saying I'm going to accomplish all of it in the next 6 months or in the next year, but I just feel like I should be ticking some things off my list. And I just want to make a conscious effort to do that. And I know on my birthday, I made a whole video saying I'm picking myself up and I'm moving forward and I'm going to be that person. Maybe it was too soon. But I'm still making a small effort day by day. And I can feel that the small effort is working. I just want to be past it. I just want to be to where I can be happy for maybe 24 hours. Right now, I'm good if I can go 4 hours. And it's crazy to sit back and look at it. But it's also not so crazy when you think about it. So we're just on this journey together and trying our best and taking it day by day. Because unfortunately, life has to go on. It's not the same life. It's not the life that we wanted. It's not the life that, of course, we planned. Who's going to plan to lose their child at the age of 24? What parent would plan to bury their child? None. But once it happens, what do? We figure it out. You don't let their memory go. You don't let their legacy go. You don't let their life mean nothing. Do what you can to keep them alive, to keep their memory going. That's the whole purpose of this podcast. I want to keep my son's memory, my son's legacy, my son's vibrance. I want to keep all of that alive as well as I can. And so that's why I continue to remember him. I continue to make tributes to him. I continue to speak on him. Because he was an amazing person. Just from the people he's touched and the way that they speak to me about him. I love when his friends reach out and share stories or share memories. And sometimes they apologize and, Mom, I'm sorry if I upset you. But it doesn't upset me. I love to hear that he touched so many people, that he impacted people, that people truly loved him. Not just his family. You know, we love him no matter what. He was the life of the party always, but to find out for other people he was the same thing, or he spoke life into people. I even had a friend of his that told me, you know, he always talked about the things that you were doing, the things that happened at your job or accomplishments that you had made. He really loved his mom. You know, those things make me smile, warms my heart. Sometimes it does make me choke up, but just to know he inspired people as well, it means a lot. And that's what I'm here for. And if you have lost a loved one, it's okay. It's okay to keep their memory alive. It's okay to talk about them when you can. Unless it's hard for you. You have to do what's best for you. I actually seen a post on Facebook today asking a question. What's the best advice you've ever been given? And I feel like the best advice that I've ever been given is you have to do what works best for you. Nothing is cookie cutter. Just because so-and-so went 6 months and was done mourning in 6 months and their life took off and they did fine. And we don't know that that's the case because you don't know what's going on behind closed doors. Some people put up a persona in front of people because they don't want them to know what they're going through on the inside. It's hard for some people to share what they're dealing with on the inside or what's going on once they get home. Some people don't go home until late hours because it's so hard for them to deal with different things. And again, it's not just the loss of a loved one. I literally have felt defeated lately because I've dealt with so many different losses, not just losing my son. There's just been so much piled up in the last year, and I feel like I've never had to go through this much. But I'm the type of person who feels like that just means there's a breakthrough coming. There has to be. All of this can't be in vain. I'm being prepared for something. And I feel like it's something big. At least something big to me. And I'll be so glad when that day comes, when whatever that something big is arrives. So then I realize that makes all of it make sense. Well, the majority of it. Because I'll be honest, I don't know that there's anything that's going to make losing my son make sense. I have found myself saying to people, well, you know, God makes no mistakes. And the only time it's hard for me to believe that quote is when I think about my son. Like, you sure, God? You sure this wasn't a mistake? I mean, I know it's all supposed to be according to your plan, but why? Why would that be a part of your plan? But it's not for me to know. It's not for me to know why a lot of these things that have happened. But I just want to be there to get that reward or the big breakthrough that has to be coming. Because the way that I've been feeling broken down lately, the way that I think that I have everything figured out and I know the next step, and then it falls completely flat every time, there's something more in store. And I'm the person who's usually in control of everything. I have everything planned out, not just plan A, B. I'd have at least plan C. If this doesn't go right, here's how we'll get around it. And then here's what we'll do if that doesn't go right. But when all three of those plans don't work out, now I'm starting to question myself. I'm starting to question my abilities, my thought process. Have I lost something? What's going on that things aren't working the way that they used to work out? I could have a plan down to the most minute detail, and it would happen exactly to that minute detail. Lately, it hasn't even happened with the big general ideas. And that's what's making me feel defeated. But I'm not one who gives up easily. I'm not giving in to that defeat. Life's going on. Life will go on. Life has to go on. I can't just lay down and die. I have seen where people say, you can't allow yourself to die with your loved one. And I'm thinking, why would you say something like that? Someone who took up so much of my heart, someone who took up so much of my life, who was, my son was here for 24 years of my life. My identity has always been being a mother of my 2 sons. So half of my identity was taken away. But it doesn't stop me from being a mother. It doesn't stop me from being the person that I'm supposed to be. Definitely a setback. Definitely a setback. A huge setback. And even right now, I'm convincing myself, look, we gotta keep going. We gotta move forward. I know it's the case. I know it's what has to happen. But it's just been so hard for me the last few months. And I'm here to be transparent. I'm not here to bring anybody else down. I'm hoping you can relate. And I'm hoping you can be encouraged just like I am to take a couple steps forward, even though you're continually being knocked back. Even though you're continually being knocked down, we got to get back up again. We got to change our approach, I guess. Maybe I got to have a plan A, B, C, D, E, and F. Maybe I have to take a step back, completely reevaluate everything, and then try to move forward. Because for some reason, the way that I've been doing it, it just hasn't worked out. So I guess it's true when they say nothing's the same. So it's time to just take a different approach. It's time to make our way the best way that we can. And I know losses, stress, and just everything has just been beating me up. It's just been coming from all different directions. Things I would have never expected to go wrong are just going wrong. And I'm reminded that He will never put more on you than you can bear. I'm reminded that that is a saying, and I still have to say, I don't know if I'm sure about that because I feel like I'm so close. But again, I'm not giving up. I'm not giving up. I'm not going to let my life end before it's time. Of course, it's hard to think how much more time when you've had to deal with a loss. And I think that's something that also makes me nervous. Like now I'm afraid to do anything. I have a motorcycle. I'm afraid to ride my motorcycle now. Like, is something going to happen? Because again, this type of loss, my family's never dealt with. And I just want to be to the point where I'm comfortable living. And that's really it. I'm so uncomfortable with life now. I'm just trying to still figure it out. But the main thing is, life has to go on. However this new life is, however this new life will be, I still have family who loves me. I still have a husband who's there for me, who supports me. He tries not to push me too hard because he don't want me to snap. That's something else I'm working on right now. But life has to go on. Somehow, some way. And I'm committed to it. I'm committed to turning this thing around. I'm committed to being more positive. I'm committed to being more uplifting to myself. Because I'm uplifting to others. I'm always encouraging people. But I really have to make the conscious effort to do the same for myself. And if you are dealing with depression, if you're dealing with life coming at you from all different directions, try to uplift yourself. Encourage yourself. It's one of my favorite songs to sing, as a matter of fact. Encourage yourself. Uplift yourself. You may not be able to get yourself all the way there, but that's a start. And then you'll be more receptive to the positivity that others pour into you. And all you do, be true to yourself. Be strong and be mighty. Join us every other Friday, everywhere that you listen to your podcasts. You can watch us on YouTube and Spotify. I'm working on some guests so we can get more topics and I can be more uplifting. Until then, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
They won't stop me now, they won't stop me now, they won't stop me, no. They won't stop me now, they won't stop me now, they won't stop me, no.